I love a lightweight mouse, and I mainly play FPS games, so when Corsair reached out and asked us to take a look at their new M75 Air, I was intrigued. Hi guys, welcome to Kit Guru. I'm Matt and this is my full review of the brand new Corsair M75 Air. The recommended retail price for this new mouse is $139.99 here in the UK. It weighs 60 grams, making it Corsair's lightest mouse ever. It's got a symmetrical design along with the usual Corsair marksman sensor and quick strike buttons. Now those buttons, the left and right buttons, sit on top of optical switches. All in all, it's a no-nonsense mouse that's designed with one thing in mind: performance. The design overall is very simple. It's got a symmetrical shape with no RGB and only 5 buttons. And just like the K70 Core keyboard that I reviewed a few days ago, it feels like Corsair have stripped back all of the fluff and really tried to hone in on the basics of the mouse and what makes a mouse good, especially one that's designed for FPS games, as this one is. The shape feels nice in my hands and it's well suited to my palm grip. It can be used with a claw style grip, but it's just a bit too long for that to be fully comfortable in my opinion. Saying that though, it's not a big mouse by any stretch of the imagination. It measures 65mm wide by 129mm long and it's roughly 41mm high. And just for reference, and for anyone that wants to know if the M75 Air will be a good fit, my hands are roughly 110mm wide by 190mm long. Coming back to the no-nonsense design that I referred to in the intro though, the M75 Air is a very simple looking peripheral. This model that I have in front of me is matte black everywhere apart from the inner section of the mouse wheel and the 2 bits of branding. I did find something in iCUE that hints at a white and a grey model coming, but they may be coming soon. I haven't had that confirmed from Corsair. But just like I said about the branding on the K70 Core, I like this minimalistic approach to branding and I think it looks pretty classy. It's branding done right in my opinion. The coating on the M75 Air is a smooth plastic that's pretty resistant to fingerprints. There are 2 semi-glossy lines running down each side from the outer edges of the left and the right click buttons, which I've got to be honest, I'm not really a fan of. I don't really like them. They just act like a little trap for bits of dust. I think a single piece shell would have looked much better. One thing I do like though is how flush the main buttons sit to the rest of the shell and how those buttons have a slight flare in their shape. They're really comfortable. The side buttons are positioned in just the right position for my thumb size, and I find that my thumb sits over the middle, so each one is pretty easily accessible without having to stretch or move too much and without having to think about it too much when I want to press them. That being said, they do sit very flush, the same as the left and right buttons though. They sit very flush with the body, and as for the side buttons, I'd have preferred them to protrude a little bit more from the housing. The button for changing connection method is on the bottom of the M75 Air. This mouse supports 2.4 GHz wireless, Bluetooth, and you can use it while it's on charge. The stock feet are made from 100% PTFE, and I can only call them okay. They are smooth and the mouse does glide on my pad pretty well. I wouldn't say it's not the fastest mouse I've ever used. It glides okay, but I have noticed that the feet are already beginning to get scratched and they have a few marks on them, and I've only been using this M75 Air for a few weeks. Some spares inside the box would have been a nice touch from Corsair. The reviewer's guide that I was given states that they are easily replaceable, so I got in touch with Corsair and asked them about that, and there are going to be glass skates and grip tape and some other stuff on sale for this mouse as accessories sometime in the near future. As I've said before, when companies take material out of a mouse to try and get it as lightweight as possible, this can sometimes lead to creaking, flexing, and just general structural problems. But that's not the case with the M75 Air though. It feels solid. The body doesn't flex at all when you grip it with all the rage of getting one tapped 19 times in a row. The left and the right click buttons feel good when they're pressed, but there is a little bit of pre-travel before the switches actuate. That's something that I had to point out for the review, but in reality, you don't feel it that much when you're gaming. When you're immersed in a game, you're not going to notice 1 mil of pre-travel before a switch actuates. The scroll wheel feels okay, and it does feel decent quality. It's got a very, very small amount of sidewards play, but nothing that has bothered or concerned me at all. Scrolling on the M75 Air feels somewhere in between an XM2WE and the DeathAdder V3 Pro. The XM2WE has got a very rigid scroll wheel, whereas the DeathAdder V3 Pro is a bit looser than this. The stepping is there in the M75 Air, but I wouldn't call it rigid. The wheel feels slightly hollow when compared to some of the other mice that I've reviewed. The hardware inside the M75 Air consists of a Corsair marksman sensor, which is capable of up to 26,000 DPI, 650 IPS tracking speed, and then capable of handling up to 50 Gs of acceleration. It's the same sensor that's found inside the Nightsaber wireless that I reviewed a few months ago. The sensor in this mouse feels just as good as it did in that mouse. It's sharp, it's precise, it's fast, and it's smooth, and I've never had any issues with it or had any concern that it's not responsive and fluid enough. It's easily capable of keeping up with me, and it felt great while playing some Call of Duty. For some reason, my interest in Call of Duty has peaked again recently. I left that game for months and I've just come back to it. I intentionally lowered my usual sensitivity while testing the M75 Air just to get a better feel for flicking and tracking, and I've got to say, it felt really nice. The responsiveness helps you feel, the responsiveness of not just this, but any premium gaming mouse. That level of responsiveness helps you feel more connected to the inputs. I hit a few max kill streaks, got a few chopper gunners while playing Call of Duty, and that's not something I usually pull off when playing that game. As I mentioned earlier, the switches for both the left and the right click buttons are optical, which eliminates any debounce delay, so you can spam click as fast as you want, and this mouse should keep up with you. Lift-off distance can be tinkered with in iCUE, which I'll touch on more in a moment, but as for the lift-off distance, you can either set it to low, medium or high, which does have a noticeable difference, or you can run through a calibration tool to configure it to match whatever surface you're using the M75 Air on. So it'll configure the lift-off distance and configure the tracking and stuff of the mouse to match the mouse pad that you've got. The wireless polling rate caps out at 2000 Hz on this mouse, which isn't as high as some of the other mice on the market, but it's plenty high enough for any normal human in my opinion. Again, this mouse feels responsive, it feels fast, and it feels fluid, and I've never, on this mouse or on any other mouse that polls at 2K, I've never had the feeling that I'm missing out on something by not playing at a 4000 polling rate, 4000 Hz polling rate. The difference is so small and imperceivable that to me at least, it's not worth the extra drain on battery life playing at 4000 Hz. Let us, if you use both, let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think 4000 Hz is worth it? It is a bit quicker, but it smashes the battery life, so it's one of those. And speaking of battery life, Corsair's specifications for the M75 Air are that it'll last up to 45 hours on 2.4 GHz wireless and up to 100 hours on Bluetooth. Like usual, Bluetooth does work, but it's not something that I ever use for gaming due to the horrendous latency. And I kind of don't see why companies keep including it as an option on high-end gaming mice like this one. I get it for like ergonomic and office mice and stuff like that, but on a mouse that's designed for FPS games, does it really need Bluetooth? The battery claims for the 2.4 GHz connection though are roughly correct. I charged the M75 Air to full when I received it, and I've topped it off just once during my 2 weeks of testing. At this stage, most premium gaming mice have decent enough batteries that you won't really have to worry about it, and the M75 Air is no exception to that. The battery lasts plenty long enough to see you through days worth of gaming sessions on a single charge. And what's more, you can use it while it's on charge, so it's not really a big deal if the battery dies during the day, if you forget to put it on charge overnight, for example. When it does come time to charge it, that's handled by plugging in the included 1.8 metre USB-A to C cable to the USB port on the front of the mouse. The cable is decent quality, it's braided, it's got robust connectors, and it should last for quite a while, but only time will tell. The only criticism I have of the M75 Air regarding connectivity is there is a slight delay in it waking up after it goes into standby mode. It takes a second for the receiver to recognise that the sensor is on the move and then reconnect the mouse. But other than that small annoyance, the connection quality is good. I've not had any disconnects or cursor lag or anything like that. Just keep the sensor as close to the mouse as possible and you'll be golden. Those of you who have watched any of my previous reviews will already know my thoughts on iCUE, the companion software that's on offer from Corsair, used to configure this mouse. It's simple to use. It's more lightweight than it used to be thanks to the transition over to the plug-in based system, and that only installs what you need when you need it. The UI is laid out well, with devices along the top and then the different tabs relating to the device that you've got selected listed down the left-hand side. The M75 Air has tabs for software and hardware controlled key assignments, with the latter being saved to one of the mouse's onboard memory profiles. There's a DPI tab for setting up your preferred sensitivity, and interestingly, there's no DPI stepping on this mouse. It's a set and forget sort of deal, which means that Corsair didn't have to include a physical DPI switch on the mouse itself, helping them keep the weight down. And like the key assignments, there's a hardware DPI setting, which will automatically save to the mouse's onboard memory, and it will apply whatever DPI you want, even when iCUE isn't running, which is the perfect setup in my opinion. Which means you can open iCUE, configure all your settings, save them to the mouse, then stop iCUE from auto starting up when you boot up your computer, and that'll stop it using up any resources in the background that you don't want it to while you're gaming, which should push your frame rates up a little bit, a marginal amount, but every little helps, I suppose. Then there's the surface calibration that I mentioned earlier, which can only be used when the mouse is connected with a cable, but once you've run through that swirly minigame once, again it's a set and forget situation. And finally we have the device settings or device options screen, for which for some reason opens in a pop-up window and not the same as all the other menus. It's like it's hidden away behind one more layer. Inside that pop-up there are options for updating the firmware, changing the polling rate, changing sleep mode settings, the battery notification in the taskbar of Windows, tutorial tooltips, multi-point status, which allows you to connect multiple Corsair wireless devices to one receiver, turn angle snapping on and off, change the lift-off distance, and then enable or disable button optimization. And then at the bottom you can save stuff to the onboard memory profiles. So in conclusion then, it's a bit of a 1-2 for Corsair in these past two reviews from me. I liked their core keyboard and I like this mouse. It's an expensive mouse, 140 quid, and there are certainly very good options available for a fair bit less than this, like the XM2WE that I reviewed a fair while ago now. But this mouse has a quality and responsiveness that I've really enjoyed. It's Corsair's best mouse for FPS gaming, at least that I've ever tried anyway. It's lightweight, it's built well, it doesn't have any feature that isn't there to serve a purpose. Everything feels like it's been put there to improve the experience. Like I said in my K70 Core keyboard review, this focus on improving the most important aspects of a peripheral, be that a mouse or a keyboard, has helped Corsair deliver something that works well, in my opinion. And you'll have to keep your eyes open, and if you see this thing on my desk in my next video that isn't a mouse review obviously, then that'll tell you a lot about just how highly I rate it. Will it replace the DeathAdder V3 Pro as my daily? Maybe it will, we'll have to wait and see. And that's all for the video guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below, we'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, see more videos like this and keep up with the latest PC gaming news and reviews. If you want to find links to our website, our Discord server, our Patreon page, or our merch, that's all down below the video. Anyway, guys, I've been Matt. This has been potentially my new favourite mouse. I'm going to keep going with it, and I'll drop in the comments if I'm using this as my daily. I've enjoyed checking this one out. I'll speak to you in the next one. Look after yourselves. See you later.